In this video, we'll be looking at Era D by Acosonus and how we can use the de-reverberation and de-noise controls to reduce reverb on a drum loop and also reduce the noise on a vocal recording. We'll also be taking a look at the multi-band processing options available on Era D and some of the advanced options in which we can control and tweak the behavior of the plugin. Let's take a look at this drum loop here. I have an instance of Era D applied. I'm going to mute it. We can hear there's far too much reverb on there, and we can dial that down using the plugin. To the left we have the signal path options. We can choose to use de-noise processing only, de-reverb only, cascade, where the input signal is processed by both modules in serial. This can be quite extreme, but used with the right de-noise and de-reverberation settings can produce some very effective results. And there's also the parallel mode. The de-noise and de-reverberation engines are active in parallel. The processing applied is the sum of each module's contribution, and there's also a slider to adjust the parallel balance between the de-reverberation and de-noise. Considering it's just the reverb we want to reduce in this drum loop, let's just select the de-reverb setting. We could apply the processing in single or dual mode. Dual mode processing allows you to use the sound from your secondary microphone to improve the enhancement quality in your primary microphone. Especially useful working with stereo audio sources. I've actually found the dual mode to be very effective for extreme processing, such as the case with this audio source where there is far too much reverb on here that we want to reduce, but in a very natural way that doesn't affect the original source sound. Even dialing both bands quite high here, and keeping in mind to bypass and unbypass. Very effectively and very intuitively, just using this one control, really reduce the amount of reverb present on the source signal on these drums. Let's take the processing one step further here and look at the multi-band options that we have above. The multi-band section is applied after the main de-noise and de-reverberation controls, so it's meant to be used to fine-tune how much the modules influence each band. We can select which frequency response is plotted on the graph here. So if I select the reverb option and focus on the green band, I can see there's lots of reverb present in the mid and higher mid frequency bands. So let's set these bands to process this, bringing the range down. I'm processing using the effect more heavily for this range. We can solo bands here as well. To really highlight whereabouts the reverb is occurring. And most of it is occurring in this band. Bringing the range down is reducing it slightly more for this frequency band. Now let's take a look at the Advanced tab that we can fold out on the plugin. Over here we have de-reverberation, time constant reverb settings. The low frequency control affects the speed at which the algorithm adapts to reverb changes in the low frequencies, whilst the high frequency control affects the speed for the algorithm adapting to reverb changes in the higher frequencies. Generally, setting a slower time for the lower frequencies than high frequencies is advisable here. And very quickly and very effectively, we've completely reduced the reverb present on this drum loop. In this next example, I've taken a audio recording, a vocal file that has quite a bad sound quality to it and quite a lot of noise in the background.
No poets or musicians are born nowadays. And you've forgotten about love.
I've loaded an instance of Era D in its default state. Let's just unmute the plugin for now.
No poets.
And instantly we've reduced the amount of noise on the audio. Let's tweak some of the settings here to get a better quality result. For starters, I'm going to change the signal path to denoise only. I might use the dual mode again, dial back the settings slightly. It tends to have a stronger effect on the sound.
Our musicians are born nowadays.
Now let's take a look at the multiband options up here. Plot the noise frequency response on the graph. We can see the purple line indicating that most of the noise is occurring in these two bands here. We can solo these two bands. Maybe bring the range down to target more processing on these sections.
No poets. Our musicians are born nowadays. And you've forgotten about
Now let's take a look in this advanced tab. Our denoise time constant options. This mode being available in dual mode and affects the general adaptation speed of the noise suppression engine. Slower values usually producing a smoother sound.
And you've forgotten about
Well, if you need more extreme processing, you could tweak them to the left for a faster value. Bearing in mind you want to maintain a natural and organic sound. If we took off the dual mode processing, we actually get the option of 3 different types, offering different flavors of noise reduction. Type B offering a more prominent effect, and Type C is the most subtle of the 3. Then let's try bypassing and unbypassing the plugin to see how much noise we've reduced on this audio recording.
Musicians are born nowadays. And you've forgotten about love.
We've very effectively reduced the noise on the recording without affecting the original vocal recording, producing a very nice and natural sounding result. Era D, denoise and de-reverberation by Acosonus is available now at adsrsounds.com.
And you've forgotten about